Hello everyone, it's nice to be back. It has been a few months now since the last video that I uploaded, and yet I am still very grateful and very thankful for all your support. You are still watching all my videos. Thank you for that. And I hope guys that you would keep on supporting me even na hindi ako makakapag-upload ng videos due to my hectic schedules. And to those who are new to this channel pala, by the way, I am Engineer J. I am a civil engineer by profession. And just recently lang, I passed the licensure examination for teacher. And this year, I made a promise to myself that I will compensate all the days na hindi ako nakapag-upload ng video. And I hope that I can double my effort to create more contents or to create more videos that will help not only engineering students but also all the aspiring professional teachers. So I will start in this video because in this video I will share to you one of the topic that was included in the October 2022 licensure examination for teacher, and this is the binomial series. And I'm sure guys that this would be very helpful because as far as I can recall, this topic comprised 3 items in the board examinations. I hope guys that you will be able to understand what I will be discussing in this video. But first, let me explain to you what is a binomial series or a binomial expression. So if you can recall your algebra on your high school or you're in college, you have this binomial expression as a minus b raised to the n power. As you can see here, we have only two terms. We have the first term expresses a and the second term expresses b. So it could be their sum or their difference. So in this case, we have this difference. So it can be positive or minus. Now, in the board exam, some of the problem ask for the R term of the binomial series. So one way to determine the R term is by expanding this binomial expression. Though it may be easy if we have the exponent here equals to n, equals to 2 rather, like for example we have x minus 1 equal raised to the second power, or we have x plus y squared, a plus b squared. So we have this different strategy on how to expand that binomial expression. We can have this square difference, we also have that funny face, and so on. But it would be difficult if we have the value of n here is equal to 3 or more. Okay, so it would be very difficult for us to simplify the binomial if we have the value of the exponent equal to 3 or above. So we can use either the Pascal's triangle, if you can remember this your algebra, or we can directly use this formula here. Okay, so that's how we can determine the R term of binomial series easily. Okay, so for this equation here, we have this to identify or to determine the R term of the series. We can use this n combination of k times a. A here again is the first term of our binomial expression raised to n minus k times b. B here is the second term of our binomial expression raised to k, where our k, the value of k, is equal to r minus 1. R here, by the way, this is the term being asked in the problem. Like for example, what is the ninth term of the binomial expression x minus 2 raised to fifth power? So our r here, there is the R term, or the what sequence in the equation we are asked to compute. Okay, so our k here is just minus 1 on the R term. Now let's try to solve an example using this equation. Now we have this first example here. So we are asked to find the fourth term of the expression 2x minus 1 over x raised to the 10th power. So again, we are asked to determine the fourth term. That means our r here is equal to 4. Okay? So by looking at the expression, we can say that our a here, again our a, this is the first term of our binomial expression that is equals to 2x. And our b here, that is the second term of our binomial expression. That means we have here negative 1 over x. And then from our expression, we have this n, c, k, a raised to n minus k, and b raised to k. So we have to compute for k here. Again, k is equal to r minus 1. That means k is equal to 4 minus 1, and this equals to 3. Okay, so again, we are asked to determine the fourth term, so therefore our r here is equal to 4. Instead of using the Pascal's triangle, which would require us a lot of a very long solution, and that would take time, so therefore we can directly use this expression. That means we have n here, that is 10. Again, our n here, that is the exponent. Then c, that is k, or then k here is r minus 1, or that is 3. Then our a is equal to 2x, so we have 2x raised to our n, that means we have 10 minus 3, and b here is negative 1 over x raised to k. Our k here is 3. So if you can recall your algebra, we have this combination problem, and we know that when we have n, c, r, that means we have the n factorial over r factorial times n minus r factorial, correct? So we can say that our n here is 10 factorial over our r. Now from this formula, our r here is equal to k, so we have 3 factorial times 10 minus 3 factorial, correct? Times 2x raised to 10 minus 3, that gives us 7, of course. Then we have negative 1 over x raised to 3. Now, by simplifying the combination part, so we can have this further simplification, that is we have 10 factorial over 3 factorial times 10 minus 3, that is 7 factorial, times 2x, so we copy the remaining expression. Now, how are we going to simplify 10 factorial divided by 3 factorial times 7 factorial? Now, we know that 10 factorial can be expressed as 10 times 9 times 8, correct? Times, then we can say 7 factorial, okay, over 3 factorial, 7 factorial times 2x raised to 7 times negative 1 over x raised to 3. Now we can cancel this out, and what remains is the 10 times 9 times 8 divided by 3 factorial is 3 times 2 times 1, okay, times 2x raised to 7 times negative 1 over x raised to 3. So we can multiply it directly. This gives us 720 divided by 6 times, now we can simplify it na, 2 raised to 7, that would give us 128 raised to times x raised to 7 times, now we have this negative sign here, but take note, we have raised this to the third power. Now if that is an odd number, that would mean that we still have negative sign on our term. Okay, so therefore that would give us negative 1 over x cubed. Because again, if you would like to simplify it further, this equation, this would give us negative 1 raised to 3 times 1 over x raised to the 3. Now this would still give us negative 1. So therefore, negative 1 times x raised to the 3, then that would give us negative 1 over x cubed. So this implies that we have negative term on the fourth term of our expression. Now you simplify it further using your calculator, or you can solve it, you can try it manually, but that would give us longer time to simplify. So we can use our calculator instead. We have, now take note, we have negative sign on our expression. So this would give us negative 15,360. Now we have x raised to the 7th. Then we, as in the numerator, and we have x cubed at the denominator. So we can say that we have x7 divided by x cubed. Now from our algebra, we have exponential rule. That is, when we divide this to the same variable, so we get the difference of their exponent. So we have x7 minus 3, that will give us x to the 4th power. So therefore, we have the 4th term, that is negative 15,360 x 4th. So this is now our answer. Again, this is the 4th term of the binomial equation. We have 2x minus 1 over x raised to the 10th power. So imagine the time that you save by using the equation instead of simplifying it manually. However, guys, this solution might be too long. It's because we can directly use our calculator to determine the coefficient of this expression. So we can use the combination option in our calculator. So if you are planning to take the licensure professional examination for teacher, you can use 570 ES plus the calculator. So this has not yet been banned in the licensure examination for teacher, but if you are planning to take engineering board exam, so Casio 570 ES was already banned by the board of examiner. So luckily in the professional teacher, we can still use Casio 570 ES plus. Now, how are we going to use this one? So if you have this combination option in your calculator, so this one here, you can use this function to simplify the 10 combination of 3. So you can use 10, then shift, then this button here, this is the divide symbol. So you have C, then our K here, that is 3, or R. So 10 combination of 3, this would give us 120. Then times 2 raised to 7, x raised to 7 times negative 1 raised to the 3rd power times 1 over x raised to 3. So by multiplying 120 and 2 raised to the 7, this would give us 120 times 2 raised to 7th power. This is 1,500, or that is 15,360 x raised to the 7th power times negative 1 times 1 over x raised to 3. So again, negative 1 times 15,360, that would give us negative 15,360 times x raised to the 7th power divided by x raised to the 3rd power. So this would finally give us 15,360 x raised to the 4th power. So again, this is now the 4th term of the equation, or the binomial equation, 2x minus 1 over x raised to the 10th power. So again, if you can use your calculator, use it. No, that would give you, or that would give you enough time or more time to solve other problem in the board exam. Okay, so that is now our answer for our first problem. Now let's proceed to the second problem. We have this example number 2. We are asked to determine the coefficient of the 8th term in the expression. So again, we are only asked to compute or determine the 8th term coefficient. When we again say coefficient, that did not, or that would not involve any variable. Okay, so again, since we are asked for the eighth term, our r here is the eighth. Same as with our first problem, our a here is equal to 2x, our b is equal to negative 1 over x, and our n here is equal to 10. So our k here is r minus 1, that would give us 7. So from our rule, n, c, k, okay, then we have a raised to n minus k, b raised to k. Our n here is 10, c, our k here is 7, our a here is 2x raised to n minus k, that is 10 minus 7, b is negative 1 over x raised to 7. Okay, so we have 10 combination of 7. We can use our calculator directly. We have 10 combination of a 7. That is 120 times 2x raised to the third power times negative 1 over x raised to the 7th power. We have 120 times 2 raised to the third power x cubed times negative 1 raised to the 7th power times 1 over x raised to the 7th power. So this would give us 120 times 8, correct? X cubed times negative 1 raised to the 7th power, of course, that would give us negative 1. Then times 1 over x to the 7th power. So we have 120 times 8. That is equals to 960 times negative 1. So we have negative 960 times we have x cubed over x 7th. And this would give us negative 10960 times x3 minus 7. This equals to negative 960 x raised to negative 4. So that means since we have negative exponent, then we eliminate the negative sign by positioning our x here at the denominator. Okay, so we have our final negative 960 over x raised to the fourth. Now take note, what was asked is the coefficient. Again, coefficient is the number that does not involve any variable. Now in this case, we have negative 960 as our answer. Now you need to be careful on what was being asked because it might give you doubts, or it might confuse you, because in the question there might be an answer that is equals to negative 960, letter A for example, and letter B we have negative 960 over x to the 40, and that is our answer for our second problem. Now for our third example, now we have different question here. Now in example number 3, we are asked to determine the term which has an independent of x in the expression. Now we still have the same expression. We have 2x minus 1 over x raised to the 10th power. Now take note, our a here is equal to 2x. Our b is negative 1 over x. Our n is 10. Since we are asked for the art term, so our unknown here is the art term, okay? The question asks for the art term with no x value, okay? That do not have this x variable. So from our general formula, we have n ck a raised to n minus k b raised to k. So our n here is of course 10. C is unknown, okay? A, our a here is 2x raised to n minus k. So we have 10 minus k. Our b here is negative 1 x raised to k. Now take note, we do not have the value of k here because again, k, as we all know, is equal to r minus 1. And r here is unknown. So if we simplify it further, this would give us, now we have 10 ck 2 raised to 10 minus k x raised to 10 minus k. So you distribute the exponent into the uh, two values here, 2 and x. Then we have negative 1 x raised to k. Okay? Because if you distribute k to the numerator, then we would have 1 raised to the k power. But this would still give us a value of 1. So we may not put k on the numerator side. So we can still simplify it by expressing it into a single x variable. We have 10 ck 2 10 minus k. We have x 10 minus k divided by x raised to k. Now don't forget the negative sign here. Now take note, we can say that 10 ck 2 raised to 10 minus k, we can put negative sign on the leftmost side of our equation. Then we have x raised to 10 minus k. Now take note, in order to divide this x here, x 10 minus k over x raised to the k, so we get the difference of the two exponents. So we have minus k here. So we have negative 10 ck 2 10 minus k x 10 minus 2k. Now take note, in order to get the constant on the r term of that binomial series, we need to ensure that x here is eliminated. How are we going to eliminate x? Now take note, if you have this zero exponent on any number, that would give us equal to 1. Like for example, if you have a raised to 0, this will always give us a value of 1. So therefore, in order to eliminate x, we have to convert x to 1. So therefore, we need to have an exponent of 0 so that x here will be converted to 1 constant. Okay, so how are we going to do that? Now take note, x here has a exponent of 10 minus 2k, and the 10 and this 10 minus 2k should be equals to 0, so that our x here would have a 0 exponent. So we have to equate 10 minus 2k equals to 0. Okay, so we simplify it further. We have 2k is equal to 10, then k is equal to 5, right? So therefore, we can say that k should be equal to 5 so that our x here, let's say we have 10 minus 2 times 5, this would give us x equal to 0, so that means this will give us value of 1. So we can eliminate the variable x in our expression, and what remains is the 10 negative 10, or I mean that negative 10 ck 2 times 10 raised to the k na. So this is the remaining term in our equation, and that is the constant that what we are looking for. Okay, so since this problem only asks for the r term, so we can say that since we know again that k is equal to r minus 1, and we already know the value of k, that is 5. So we have r minus 1, so therefore r here must be equal to, of course, 6, correct? So therefore, our sixth term has a value independent of x. So how are we going to check? Now, again, we can say that we have 10 ck, our k here is 5, correct? We have 2, 10 minus 5, we have x raised to 10 minus 2 times 5. So we have 10c5 That will give us, so we can use our calculators. We have 10 combination of 5. That would give us 252 times 2 raised to the 5th power. 10 minus 5, of course, that gives us 6. Then x raised to 0. So we have 252 times 2 raised to the 5th power. This would give us 8,064. So this is the constant term. Now take note, x raised to 0 here, this is equal to 1. Okay, so 8,064 times 1, so that is the 8,064. And this is our 6th term. But again, since the problem asks only for the art term, so our answer should be 6th term, okay, for this problem. Okay, and that ends our discussion about the binomial series. So again, this has been included in the October 2022 board examination for teachers. I hope, guys, that you will try to solve more problems about this topic. So again, you can use directly this formula here, instead of trying to expand the binomial series manually, and that will save you time. Thank you guys for listening, but please don't forget to share these videos to all your friends and to all the aspiring professional teachers, especially math major professional teacher. Thank you guys for watching this video, but please don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more. And of course, don't forget to hit the notification bell for update. Thank you guys and have a safe day.